Hey y'all, how's it going? So I'm going to do another story time here. And this one isn't as dark as my previous videos, but still a little bit on the traumatic side. I was 13 and 6th grade, getting ready to go into the 7th grade. 2 weeks before school was to let out for summer break. We were playing a game outside in PE that was called Mississippi Baseball. Mississippi Baseball at the time was a cross between baseball and soccer. So same exact concept as baseball, only the pitcher rolls the soccer ball and the batter kicks the soccer ball. It was my turn to be the pitcher. So as I get ready to roll the ball, in the midst of all this, I somehow ended up twisting my left foot, and I fell. When I fell, I heard this loud crack. The best way I can describe this crack was when you're chopping down a tree, and just before it falls, it makes that really loud cracking sound. That's what echoed out through my entire body. So I knew I had done something wrong. I wasn't crying. I was screaming at this point. Before I knew it, I had a group of kids circling around me. Some of them were laughing. Not sure if they thought it was a joke or being your standard typical asshole teenagers, whatever. But still screaming at the top of my lungs, not being able to get up. PE teacher approaches me, tells me to get up. Screaming at him, I couldn't because I knew something was wrong. So he tells me again to get up. I couldn't do it. So the PE teacher has one of the kids go running into the building, and they grab the principal. And not only do they grab the principal, they grab the vice principal. The vice principal has a pair of scissors with him. So I remember the vice principal getting down onto his knees, and he's cutting up my jean pant leg, and sure as shit, black and blue, incredibly swollen. I can't help but to laugh every time I think about this, because it obviously wasn't funny at the time, but they didn't call 911 because they weren't sure on the severity of my leg. Instead of having an ambulance come and get me, I was hauled in the back of the head custodian's truck. I don't recall having much pain. I think it was because of the shock that I was in. I do remember a couple bumps on the way over, and yes, it would hurt a little bit, but it was not anything severe. So he gets me over to the ER there at the hospital. My parents arrived there a short time after. They get me checked in, all that lovely stuff. Doctor finally comes in, takes a look at it. Gonna need to do some x-rays. Okay. So they take me to the back, get the x-rays done. Go back into the room where my parents were waiting for me so we could wait for the doctor to come back in with the x-rays. What seemed to have taken forever, he finally comes back in with the x-rays. And I remember him plastering it up on that board that was lit up. Points right to the bone. It's the fibula, the outer bone of the leg. I broke it right in half. Tore and stretched ligaments as well. I was so pissed. I was so mad. I started crying. Couldn't feel any pain still. I was just so frustrated at the point that my summer was shot before it even begun. I had to have surgery that same day. They had to take and put in a plate and screws. Surgery went fine, all went well. Ended up in a fiberglass cast from my whole part of my foot clear up to just above my calf the entire summer. Wasn't able to go out and enjoy the stuff that I love doing, like camping, fishing, swimming especially. Couldn't do any of that. So that was like the most boringest summer that I've ever had. So 7th grade finally rolls around, after what seemed to take forever for the summer to pass by. Foot still in a fiberglass cast. I ended up having to go in because I think it was like 6 to 9 months later, something like that. Had to go in for a second surgery because it was time for them to go ahead and remove the plate and screws. Had the second surgery, all went well. But I had to have my foot in a fiberglass cast yet again so they could make absolutely sure that it was going to be completely healed even after removing everything. So now that I'm older, I've got a gnarly scar. And they say that after you've broken a bone or something like that it gets stronger. If anything, I've noticed during especially the winter months, I can tell when it's going to be really cold, just for the simple fact that my leg it'll just start throbbing. It'll eventually go away, but that's like the only thing that's changed since all that took place.